Thank you very much. I'm quite excited to be at Mafunzo New Curriculum TV today. My name is Anthony Mugo. I'm a consultant, a communication consultant, and I also consult in development, project planning and development work. And a bit of background, I have a background in education and training, having been a high school teacher. I've lectured in colleges and universities, and also I've done work as a full-time journalist, and currently I'm a full-time expert consultant, strategic communication consultant, working to serve clients both in Kenya, in the region, and across Africa. And I don't work alone. I have a team of associates that we work with, and that's who I am. Good question. We came up with this course is we realized that the people that start to benefit from this course, people who may have decided to start their own self-employment. They could be people who are about to retire and they feel the experience they have and their skills, and this is something we really encourage. They can use that experience and transform it into an employment that creates work for themselves, creates work for others in the community, while ensuring that retirement is a productive process and that retirement is not the end of working life, it's just the beginning of another phase of life. So we felt, and why then did we think training is important? My own personal experience, I realized when I left formal employment, that self-employment requires a very different set of skills. Of course, the technical experience that I have and skills that I have are important, but there are other things that change when you move from formal employment to self-employment. For example, when you're in formal employment, you don't worry about how to recruit staff. You don't worry about how to run an office. You don't worry about how to organize logistics for workshops. You don't worry about how to correct debts and how to solicit for business, how to generate and mobilize capital. These are things which are very essential when you're self-employed, and you need skills to be able to execute them. What I experienced myself was that it doesn't come automatically, or it's not an automatic process. And I really struggled. I remember at one time I would meet friends who would tell me, now that you have free time, why don't you engage in going to places where there is a lot of subdivision of land and connect people who are buying land and selling land. And I got involved in that. The thinking was that if you get somebody selling land for 30 million, and you are eligible for a commission of 30%, then you are going to get a certain amount of money, maybe 500,000 out of that transaction, with doing very little work. Others said, why don't you start a restaurant? People will always eat. You have time, you can do. And I actually tried those things, but in the end, I lost. I still say I lost 3 years. You can imagine the amount of money that I lost trying to pursue things which were outside my core training and core experience. So what we realized is that it's important for when you want to get self-employed, continue doing what you are skilled at, what you enjoy, and what you have passion for. So, and for you to do that, then you need to be able to combine that with new skills that you need to apply in self-employment, which are very different from what you are used to in formal employment. That's the purpose of the course, to close that gap between formal employment. And so one time I would meet friends who would tell me, now that you have free time, why don't you engage in going to places where there is a lot of subdivision of land and connect people who are buying land and selling land. And I got involved in that. The thinking was that if you get somebody selling land for 30 million, and you are eligible for a commission of 30%, then you are going to get a certain amount of money, maybe $500,000 out of that transaction with doing very little work. Others said, why don't you start a restaurant? People will always eat. You have time, you can do. And I actually tried those things. But in the end, I lost, I still say I lost 3 years. You can imagine the amount of money that I lost trying to pursue things which were outside my core training and core experience. So what we realized is that it's important for when you want to get self-employed, continue doing what you are skilled at, what you enjoy, and what you have passion for. So, and for you to do that, then you need to be able to combine that with new skills about that you need to apply in self-employment, which are very different from what you are used to in formal employment. That's the purpose of the course, to close that gap between formal employment and self-employment, and to give you the skill sets that you need to transition that way. Actually, that's a very good question. You already have this set of experience, this set of skills, but what I learned from my own personal experience is that there are other gaps, there are other skills gaps, like logistics. When I worked, other people did that for me. Other people figured when I'll get paid. Other people figured how the work that we were doing in my organization would be invoiced for. They worried about, it was their business to figure if we we needed to collect money which we are owed. That requires effort and skills and expertise. But when you are self-employed, you have to do all that, including transporting yourself from one venue to the next, organizing forums in different cities and urban centers where the training is going to happen. And those are skills you may not have, and you need them for you to deliver your work in a professional way. I insist professionally because once you go through this course, you stop calling yourself a Juakali person. You call yourself an expert consultant who is delivering professional service that is going to make a difference to the effectiveness of the work of your clients. And that is what we are training you to become. Because previously you did your job, you got paid a salary, and then that's how you manage your income. This time you're on your own, but you need skills to be able to apply those. You need a platform and a skill set that will position you to be able to deliver that experience and skills in a way that you get remunerated properly. So, and then you get your own opportunity to make a difference in a very meaningful way. The course, and I must let me repeat, it's called How to Start and Grow a Consultancy Practice. It is an in-person course. It is a very practical course. It is not theoretical. We use real-time examples. A lot of some of the experience I have in my day-to-day consulting work, some of the experience that my associates have. The people we'll be training, some of them are already consultants. They'll be coming to the course in order to update themselves in terms of how to deal with some of the problems they face on a day-to-day basis. So the way we deliver the course is we call it an experiential approach, because these are not people we are teaching. They are people who are already skilled. What they need is ways of dealing with day-to-day issues that confront them as consultants, so that they become more valuable and more impactful in the services that they give to their clients. And so their clients are able to always, refer them or give them the opportunity to help them to deal with the problems that they face as clients, to deliver the services for which they exist, to deliver on their missions. So our work is to make the work of clients better. If our client is a business person, to help them make better business. If it's a service provider, to help them provide those services more cost effectively and efficiently. And if they are any type of professional endeavor, we are able to intervene and look at what pain points you are experiencing and help you to deal with them and work with you to address that and leave you more efficient than you were before we got engaged. We have essentially 14 modules. The first one is just getting in what is consulting, because not everybody knows what some people will, when you mention the word, people imagine it's a complex process, but consulting is just providing information or guidance to a client on how to deal with problems that they are facing. It is so your work is to identify and be able to look for solutions based on interactions with the client and their stakeholders, and to be able to figure how can we address this problem. That is what consulting is about. And then we also train participants on how to position themselves. If you are consulting, you are consultant, you need to brand yourself, for example. Give yourself a name that relates to the work you do. You go as far as come up with a brand, come up with a logo. How do you identify your practice? Because we also encourage you to establish a firm and be able to give it identity. And then the next thing, you brand it. And then we also train you on how to negotiate. Consulting is a business. You make income out of the services that you provide to your clients. You don't want to be in a situation where you provide very valuable advice, but the payment that you get or the reward that you get for doing that is not matching the effort you made or the skills that you imparted on your clients. So we train you how to negotiate so that you get what you are worth. Then we also train you. Most consulting work comes from two pathways. We know that mostly for public sector clients, you get work through tenders. The government, for example, both national and county, or schools or other public institutions, they will issue tenders. So you compete for tenders by developing bids. So we'll train you how to write winning bids. If you are helping nonprofit clients, they get most of their money from donors or financing partners. We help you to learn how to write effective proposals that get funded, because this is experience we have, and we have done this sort of work very effectively. So we'll be helping participants to do that. When you are running projects, we'll help you to have skills on how do you track effectiveness, monitoring, evaluation, how do you report. So there are modules on that aspect. Our practice, how is it? In Kenya, we know we have challenges of ethics, integrity. How do you deal with that? You want to have a practice that is also, grounded on integrity in an environment where we are struggling to fight corruption. How do you make sure you don't join the corruption bandwagon and keep your, practice very ethically integrated in terms of the way you practice your ethics? We also train you on how to manage finances. Consulting is a business. The idea of consulting is so that you can make money to pay your bills and to generate some wealth. So we bring experts to the course who will train you how to do financial planning, financial management, financial projection, and investment, and anything to do with finance. Related to that, we also train you about debt correction. One of the worst enemies of consulting practice is debt, because you may be very busy serving clients and you are not able to have and invoicing them, but not all clients are responsive to being invoiced. Some of them become very busy, they forget to write you a check. So you need to be able to have the skills and the techniques and approaches to ensure that you get paid for the work that you do, and you get paid on time, and you get paid according to the contracts that you have. That is not an obvious thing for many people when you're coming from employment, because the payment process in employment is very straightforward. It's not as straightforward in consulting, it's different. That's why you need different skills to deal with some of those problems. We train you on how to set fees. How do you price yourself? How do you price your experience and your skills? Because there's a danger if you are not careful to understate your fees. So we help you to state your fees in line with the level of service that you are providing to your client. So we also spend a lot of time in the course training you about that. After we go through the course, we don't abandon our participants. We create what we call a community of practice. So everyone who passes through our course, we get their information, we treat them as partners from that point onwards. So if you run into a technical problem, you call us. The company is called Imagine Communications. You call us and we'll be able to give you advice remotely how to deal with that. Or we can connect you with people who have had similar experiences who we have trained. So we create a community so that our trainees are not, we start a partnership literally. We work with you for the rest of your consulting journey once we train you. And finally, we help you to learn how to bid. It's very easy to get distracted by so many opportunities that appear. There are many advertisements about new bids and all that. But can you respond to every bid? Obviously, you cannot. So how do you figure out which ones to respond to? So we train you on how to identify those and focus on the ones for which you are best skilled. So as I wind up there, the thing to think about is don't spend a lot of your resources trying to bid for work for which you are not skilled. You bid for what you think you are the best positioned consultant to win the job. To get to the course, there are two ways. There are courses that are scheduled. Like for example, this time we have one scheduled for a place called Oljororok in Nyandarua County. It's going to run between 16th and 18th of April. That's in a month's time. And there is opportunity to join that. To do that, you contact myself, Anthony Mugo. My number is 0722 818689. I'll repeat that, 0722 818689. You can send me an email. My email is ammugo2003 AMMUGO ammugo2003 And that's how you get in touch with me. When we are running the course outside Nairobi, it costs Kenya shillings 20,000 for the 3 days. This caters for the training fee, it caters for meals and refreshments and training materials. So 20,000 for outside Nairobi venues and 30,000 for Nairobi venues, because Nairobi venues tends to be slightly more expensive than upcountry venues.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mugo, for giving us that interview concerning on the project program. We shall be looking forward to call upon you again, govern and come up with mafunzo new curriculum and shed more light, especially on those modules. Thank you.
We look up to hear from you. Very ready to get the training and so that we are able to contribute towards the economic development of our country and ensure that we are not having idle talent. We need people who are experienced to pass that knowledge to future generations. So I'm happy to be here once again, and thank you very much.